Hi everyone, welcome back. This is part 2 of Prison Planet Connections, Samsara, Circles and Cycles. So I didn't plan on doing part 2 right away, but I just want to get this over and done with so I can shut my computer down and turn off all these pages, you know? Anyway, so let's just continue. Where we were before, I had left you by accident at the picture of what I was describing, which isn't too bad, but we will just have a scroll of this page that we were reading. If you want to fight your ignorance, as it says here, samsara is ignorance, arises out of ignorance. These links will be posted below, and I encourage you to do your own research if you want to learn more. Again, I'm just going over the connections between samsara, cycles, and soul school, being this like a giant school of souls going through different cycles of existence, and soul school in terms of your learning lessons, you're taking tests, passing them in order to reach nirvana. Right after this, we're going to move into the 108, which talks about the things we need to do to avoid being stuck in a cyclical existence and being able to reach enlightenment and move on to nirvana, which would be heaven. So this was the page I was reading from. When we were reading about the 3 planes of existence, it's here: the desire realm, form realm, and formless realm. Okay. We talked about the objects. Desire realm is principally dependent on external objects of sensual desire, such as form, sound, taste, smell, all those things, okay? Your senses. So there's the 6 modes of being. Again, we all go through these different levels of consciousness, okay? Or modes of being. And so gods, jealous gods, humans, animals, hungry ghosts, and hell beings. And then we learn about the benefits of being born human. This is why people, for instance, like Elena Danaan has said how special it is to be human, because not all beings get to be human. They might be stuck in their other cycles and not learn the lessons to be able to graduate out of the grade or level or state of being that they are in, right? So they may not be able to complete those tests and lessons to be able to get a choice, or a chance rather, to become human, to reach nirvana and step off the wheel of reincarnation, or graduate from soul school and move on to other forms of existence in the universe, So, yeah, it says among the 6 domains, a human birth is said to offer the best opportunity to practice the Dharma, thereby offering the best chance to attain liberation or graduation from samsara or soul school. Okay, it's connected. Different words meaning the same thing. Okay, in Hinduism, so it talks about how in all other ages, or rather all other points of time in the yugas, like say the golden age, there isn't much struggle and there's so much happiness that there isn't any lessons really to learn from. So the process is very slow of ascension or reaching nirvana, because the vast majority during that age have done so. You see what I'm saying? So it's a very slow time for evolution of consciousness and these souls. In the Kali Yuga, it's also said to be, even though it sucks, it's the best time to be born because you have the most opportunity for growth, personal growth, spiritual growth, mental development, and your overall consciousness development. Okay. So when things are hard, there's a chance for ascending higher. And when things are easy, you kind of just stay the same in your bliss, you know? So, these also can be states of mind, all right? But that might be a little bit much that I am, okay, for example, a feeling of anger can be said to lead to rebirth into a new realm. This rebirth can be viewed as an instantaneous level in which being angry can make someone feel very heated, or on a longer term level, in which habitual tendency to anger can cause someone to be reborn into a heated situation. An extreme habituation to anger and violence can lead to rebirth in one of the hell realms. On the other hand, feelings of compassion and love can lead to rebirth into the realms where these feelings are dominant, such as certain god realms or particular situations within the human or animal realms. With animals, maybe it's that the animals that get to live lives with humans and be well taken care of, maybe this is part of their dharma for doing good things on their soul's path in different forms of existence. You know, even just Salem, for example, he's very protective, not only of me, but of Marvin. It was last summer, when there was a dog that was out there barking, Salem was right there, ready to take on that dog. You know, I heard him thump against the fence there with his paw, scared that dog back. He's very protective. So I find that the animals that I've had too, are different, almost like a higher level of consciousness within them, smarter, more emotionally, intelligently conscious, things like that. Yeah. So it probably is something like that, that they're living out part of their good karma, that's dharma, in this kind of way. You know, to be cared for human, they don't really have to go hunt for food. They get to relax. We protect them. They don't have to worry about predators. So it kind of, in their realm, in the animal realm, again, if we're going to go back, oh, did I close that picture? I did, but it's right here. Open image in new tab. Share this one. So we have the animal world, but below the Titan world. And again, when I talked about the prison planet, it always talks about the beast system. And people always think and look at this as something negative and a takeover. But what if it's more about overcoming your beast nature, or your lower dimensions, or those things in the lower chakras? Like that video that I went through in the pineal gland connections 5, I believe, with Santos. He says about like survival, sexuality, and fighting for power. So that would be the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus, like we went over in pineal gland connection series, okay? So moving from the lower dimensions to the higher dimensions, you know, heart, unconditional love, communication, true sight, you know, things like that. Seeing clearly, having your heavenly eyes open, things like this, you know, moving into lower dimensions to higher dimensions. So overcoming your beast nature is a huge part of it. You know, like I don't think like following like the what's that called? The beast, or the beast agenda. What do we call that? I friggin' forget. But following that kind of leads you into keep being reincarnated here. Hence, like that soul trap kind of thing. That I told you, this is also from Santos, that he said, these 3 questions really hit me. And I knew that they were very important. Who are you? To really answer that question of who you are. Where are you? And where are you going after this? To have a true understanding of where you'd like to be headed, right? Almost like pulling back an arrow with your intended destination. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So those 3 questions are extremely important in your direction of where you're headed after here. You know. Mm-hmm. So I think that's pretty interesting. You know, animals living with humans, being protected. That could be essentially heaven. And everyone's like, oh, when I come back, I want to be born as a dog or a cat to be taken care of. Yes. But this is almost a level down in consciousness anyway. Not that it's a bad thing, but you would want to move up in consciousness, kind of move through those types of things. Because animal world is very survival of the fittest, all those things. Nature's unkind sometimes. I don't know if you've ever watched the Animal Planet show and stuff, but mothers will sacrifice themselves for the children and die and give the cheetah her own body so their babies can get away. You know what I mean? It's a pretty brutal existence, and so is the Titan world, the hungry ghost world, and ours as well, But it's probably slightly, not by much, but better than the other ones, I would suppose, From what I can recall, from the ones that I do remember, the lives that I do remember, the recollections that I have about them, there was a lot of survival and fighting and things like this, stuff that isn't really present here. And yeah, you have superpowers and things like this, but there's always someone trying to kill you. So it's not always the best situation, I am going to do a video about some of the stresses and things that can push people to have mental health episodes with some of this, because it wasn't something that's present for me. Like, I don't ever, and I have never been kept up at night worrying, is there going to be something that's going to teleport or manifest itself into my bedroom and attack me while I'm sleeping or whatever. No, I never worry about these things. But some people do. They find out about the interdimensional reality of these beings, and it really affects them mentally, to where they think they're in danger all the time, and it can really put a lot of stress on the brain. But again, I am digressing. So we've looked at Samsara. Now we're going to come over here and read a little bit here. It says, Samsara in Buddhism refers to an endless cycle of death, death, and rebirth, characterized by suffering and driven by ignorance and desire. See, it's almost like the desire for money, the desire for being famous, all these things that people are chasing today, the desire to be the owner of a Fortune 500 company or whatever, be super rich, be an elite, whatever. All of these things that people are chasing after in the physical realm, you'll be brought back here to do it again, So these are kind of like these soul traps. This is why, like, it kind of puzzles me even. Gambling is a huge addiction. It's a huge problem. That's all I ever see on YouTube ads. Beltano gambling, gambling, gambling. It's unreal. But again, this is a temptation. Sorry, I'm itchy because my hair is itching me on my ear. This is why I usually keep my hair back all the time. So, Okay. And again, you can see that photo over here. We're going to look at another photo that's similar so you can see what it looks like. I have this in Pineal Gland Connections 5. So yeah, characteristics of Samsara. Samsara involves repeated births and deaths across various realms of existence. So you're going and cycling through each realm. Animal, plant, mineral, just like that picture talked about. Angel and whatnot. Of course, it doesn't explain everything, but you get the concept. So you die and you become something more. You die as an animal, you become human. You die human, you become an angel. You see what I'm saying? Or a higher dimension or whatever, you know? So life in samsara is marked by dukkha, which refers to suffering, dissatisfaction, or impermanence. So I find like if you settle into your life, like I just kind of accepted things as they are, you know, and stopped. Like it's not like I'm not achieving or trying to achieve for any better, but like stop beating myself up over the fact that I can't go to work like everybody else, or that that I don't live the same type of life as others, and kind of just come into peace with it, into balance with it, you know, and not be dissatisfied or not feeling like it's not enough or not what I wanted it to be. And see it for, because I was watching a video with an interview with Kelly Marie Kerr earlier on today. I didn't finish it because I had some stuff to do, but I will. I'll finish it tomorrow. Sometimes it's a little bit heavy, and then I'll move on. I know here I am at 2:15 in the morning talking about this stuff, but I will finish it tomorrow morning when I wake up with my tea. I have tea now, but with my morning tea. Uh, and she talked about how, like I said, you will be given the things that you ask and pray for. It just may not be the way that you thought it would be. Like when I was a kid, I prayed for my superpowers back. But in this world, well, even though I'd like to have them, we don't really need them. In this world, like I said, it's a balance or a battle of will and intelligence, the different type of superpower. It's a heart, mind, and spirit kind of thing. Those are your powers. Who you are on the inside, you know? Yeah. Different kind of battle scenario with different kind of weaponry, so to speak. It doesn't necessarily have to be perceived as a battle, but you understand like the comparison, right? Okay. So the cycle is driven by ignorance of the true nature of reality. Yeah. So even like when they tell you not to eat animals, it's because it could have been you at one time. True that. But you probably have multiple lives as an animal, things like this. I would assume so. I remember a few: rabbit, fox, things like this. Hmm. So, and the golden dragon, of course, symbolizes immortality. Yeah. So I did a picture, and I kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. So I see the drawings on the page before I even start drawing them. It's not channeling, I would call it, but it's intuitive, so I'm intuitively drawing things. And sometimes when I first draw them, I don't know exactly what they mean. Oh, can't see myself. I'll be able to know if I'm showing you right. Okay. Right here. You see? There's the fox and little Zen garden, it's called. There's some little bunny rabbits right down there. And then, of course, the golden dragon to symbolize the immortality thing. Yeah. Because we all do. We live forever. our consciousness and our souls keep cycling through. That is essentially what immortality is. That your consciousness never dies. And you just keep being recycled. You know? So, in Buddhist cosmology, beings can be reborn in one of the 6 realms, which includes heavenly, a realm of pleasure and happiness, demigod, a realm of power and jealousy. And I think, and I'm pretty very sure, that we are dealing with demigods, you know, a realm of power and jealousy. When it comes to like Anunnaki custodian type of being, you know. Now we do have the unseen, but we also have the physical. There's non-physical and then physical types of people, whether they're from here or not, that would be like that. Remember, it's also a state of mind, right? They also said it's a place, but it can also be a state of mind. And so the human, a realm where humans can make moral choices. Animal, a realm characterized by ignorance and suffering. Ghosts, a realm of insatiable desire and suffering. So it's like it said, it's always being hungry and thirsty, but never being able to satisfy that hunger and thirst. And then hell, a realm of intense suffering and torment. But liberation from samsara, again, this is the 8-fold path. Remember I said about 9-fold constitution? The ultimate goal in Buddhism is to escape samsara by attaining nirvana. This state represents the cessation of desire and the realization of the true nature of reality, leading to freedom from the cycle of rebirth. The path to liberation is often pursued through practices outlined in the Noble Eightfold Path, which includes ethical and mental disciplines aimed at overcoming ignorance and desire. And so with that, it moves us over to the 108, which is something that I learned by watching The Monkey King. So right there. Yep. Okay. Okay. So the significance of 108 in Buddhism. The number 108 is significant in Buddhism as it represents the 108 defilements or earthly temptations that practitioners must overcome to achieve enlightenment. Additionally, malas used for meditation, typically 108 beads, serving as a reminder of these challenges. So if you ever see monks and they have got those long threads of beads and they're moving one after the other with their finger, every single time it's like almost like a mantra to remind themselves of these different things. And they might be working on one at a time or whatever, but there are other ones. So they go through and they're each saying it in their mind over and over again. I spent some time at a Buddhist temple when I was young. I was 17 years old, but I didn't learn stuff like this. We were just practicing meditation, breathing techniques, and different ways of prayer, that they do. Getting up, bowing, bell, bing, get back down on your knees, bow, things like that. And, like I said, breathing and walking in a circle, meditation practice and stuff like this. So, okay. So the number 108, and again, it adds up to 9, which is a completion, right? 9 is completion. We read this earlier. It might have been in pineal gland 5 because it was the 144,000 and the chosen one thing. Yeah. Okay. So the number 108 equaling 9 holds profound significance in Buddhism, primarily symbolizing the 108 defilements or earthly temptations that practitioners, what was that other number that added up to 9? Oh, yeah, I remember. Sorry. Or earthly temptations that practitioners strive to overcome on their path to enlightenment. These defilements represent various imperfections and distractions that hinder spiritual progress. So, use in meditation practices. Buddhist malas, or prayer beads, that's what I was talking about earlier, typically consist of 108 beads. Each bead serves as a tool for counting mantras during meditation, helping practitioners focus and reflect on the defilements they aim to transcend or overcome. This practice reinforces mindfulness, like, so being able to control your thoughts and not going in, just for one, like sexual thoughts and things like this, just for example, seeing a woman with big boobies walk by and the monk, moves away the eyes and focuses on other things. To, that's a temptation or a defilement, to kind of lust after a woman. Or that's just an example again. I mean, could be for me too, like, never mind. It's not appropriate. But never mind. Henry Cavill as The Witcher looks great in those leather pants. Just as that though. That's whenever I think of a man, yeah. Anyway, sorry. But those nice leather pants. But I don't want to have sex with him. He just looks really good, right? I shouldn't think like that. Where are my beads? I would never touch that man sexually, seriously. Anyway, moving on. It's just the leather pants that look nice. Where was I? Helping practitioners focus and reflect on the defilements they aim to transcend. This practice reinforces mindfulness and spiritual discipline. Cultural and ritual importance. The number 108 is also significant in various Buddhist rituals. For instance, bells in Japanese temples are often rung 108 times at the end of the year to symbolize the release of these defilements and to welcome a new year with a fresh start. Oh, that's nice. This ritual emphasizes the importance of letting go of past imperfections, okay? Like almost like a new year. Like the new year, new start, fresh new beginning. The number 108 serves as a powerful reminder of the challenges faced on the spiritual journey. Yeah, that's what the Monkey King meant when they were talking about that. And the commitment required to achieve enlightenment. Yeah, it was the monk and him, and they were talking about the 108. And that's exactly what they're meaning. Of course, it's in Chinese, so, I mean, it's not like the interpretations were bad or anything, but it doesn't actually explain that. So if you don't know what the 108 is in Buddhism, and the Monkey King is very Buddhist, with the Buddha and what are they going after? The scrolls or something? I forget what they are. Terrible at this, but I recommend those movies anyway. The Monkey King, they're very, very good. That's where I learned about the 108, like I was saying. So that's really nice. Again, if you want to learn more about these things, you're more than welcome to. Like I said, I just put in the significance of the 108. It brings up a whole bunch of information, and you can, learn about Buddhism if you want. I mean, you can take part in these things. You don't have to be, it's more of a lifestyle and a way of being rather than a religion. I don't know if I'll call it a religion, but technically, I guess it is. But thank you, Sun Wukong, because I like that, the 108. And again, it adds up to 9. Okay. Where should we go next? Should we do the esoteric symbolism? Or should we go here first? because that's moving on to the circle. Are we done with Samsara? Pretty sure we are done. I showed you the ship wheel and everything like that, eh? And the animal cycles. Yeah, we looked at all of that. So we can move on to the esoteric significance of the circle. Oh my gosh, look how pretty this picture is. I am saving it. Hold on, I'll show you. This one right here with the clouds. That's gorgeous. Taking it. Hold on a second. My computer takes a moment, so it'll just be a second. There. That is beautiful. I'm going to use that. I didn't see that one before. That is such a pretty sky. Some mornings, I watch the sunrise or sunset. That looks like sunset actually. But how beautiful is that? How long have we been going for? Okay. Well, I'm going to stop here, this part. You're not going to notice because I'm just going to bring up the symbolism of the circle and we're going to move on to that. It's called the esoteric, it's under theosophy. And it's the esoteric symbolism just right here, okay? We're going to start off right here, but I'm going to save this part of the recording and we will be right back.